Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about new kings and kingdoms. This is the second chapter of 7th class history book. Basically, in this video we will discuss about Chahmans in Ajmer and Delhi. We will see a flow chart of new kingdoms. And at last we will see administration in the kingdoms. In administration in the kingdoms, we will discuss about general administration, land grants and prashastis, and after it we will discuss about warfare for wealth. At first we will discuss Chahmans in Ajmer and Delhi. Chahmans were also known as Chahmans, and they were ruling from 1975 to 1192 AD. Ruling from 1975 to 1192 AD. Prithviraj Chauhan or Prithviraj III was the last and the greatest ruler of Chahman dynasty. His great military achievements have been described in Prithviraj Raso, which was written by Chand Bardai. Chand Bardai was the court poet of Prithviraj Chauhan, and he was also the friend of Prithviraj Chauhan III. Prithviraj Chauhan enhanced the power of Chahmans by bringing Mahoba, Bundelkhand and Gujarat under his control. He valiantly resisted the attacks of Muhammad Ghori in two battles of Tarain in 1191 and in 1192. He is said to have been killed in the second battle of Tarain. Muhammad Ghori invaded India with a clear aim of conquering northern part of India and expanding his kingdoms in Afghanistan. Unlike Mahmud of Ghazni, his intention was not getting gold but establishing an empire. That's why he fought against Chahman Rajput Prithviraj Chauhan III. Somewhere it is also considered that Jaichand Gehrwal, the last ruler of Gehrwal dynasty, invited Ghori in India because he felt jealous to Prithviraj Chauhan III, as Prithviraj was given the throne by his maternal grandfather. When we discuss the first and second battle of Tarain, the first battle of Tarain was fought in 1191 and it was won by Prithviraj Chauhan III. The Ghori wanted to take revenge. That's why once again in 1192 he fought a battle with Prithviraj Chauhan III in the battlefield of Tarain. We can say second battle of Tarain. In the second battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan III was defeated by Muhammad Ghori by his diplomacy, or we can say by using unfair means. But what happened after the second battle of Tarain, it is not quite clear yet. Somewhere it is considered that Prithviraj Chauhan was killed by Muhammad Ghori, whereas one other mythological story said that after the defeat of the second battle of Tarain, Prithviraj was brought in chains before Muhammad Ghori. He haughtily looked Ghori straight into the eye. Ghori ordered him to lower his eyes, whereupon Prithviraj scornfully reminded him of how he had treated Ghori when the Ghori was a prisoner. He declared that the eyelids of a Rajput are lowered only in death. On hearing this, Ghori flew into rage and ordered that Prithviraj's eyes be burnt with red-hot iron rods. Prithviraj's former courtier Chand Bardai came in disguise and secured himself a place in Muhammad Ghori's court as a poet. Chand Bardai told Ghori that Prithviraj was so skilled an archer that he could take aim based only on sound without looking at his target. When Ghori disbelieved him, Chand Bardai composed a couplet to give direction to Prithviraj Chauhan, and the couplet, which was composed by Chand Bardai, means that 10 measures ahead of you and 24 feet away is seated the Sultan. Do not miss him now, Chauhan. Then Ghori ordered Prithviraj to shoot. Prithviraj turned in the direction from where he heard Ghori speak and sent an arrow racing to Ghori's throat. Ghori was thus struck dead by Prithviraj. Naturally, After this deed, Prithviraj was killed by Muhammad Ghori's courtiers, but the brave Rajput had avenged the humiliation suffered by him. Although the above story which is discussed by me cannot be treated as historical fact because according to some of the historical facts, Prithviraj Chauhan was taken to Ghazni by Muhammad Ghori where he was killed by Muhammad Ghori. So somewhere we can say the death of Prithviraj Chauhan is not has not been revealed yet. Basically we can say like the most famous ruler of Chauhan dynasty was Prithviraj III, who fought two battles with Gauri. First battle of Tarain that was fought in 1191 and second battle of Tarain that was fought in 1192. In first battle, Prithviraj Chauhan got victory, whereas in this battle, Gauri won. We can find the description about Prithviraj Chauhan in his two books, Prithviraj Raso, that was written by Chand Bardai, and the second is Prithviraj Vijay, that was written by Jayanak. Now we will see the flow chart of new kingdoms. That is from 700 AD to 1350 AD, 750 to 1150 AD. That was the time period of Palas of Bengal and Bihar. The second is 730 to 1018 AD. That was the time period of Pratiharas of Kannaus. The third one was 900. That was the time period of Chandels of Bundelkhand. 949 to 1305 AD. That was the time period of Parmaras of Malwa. 971 to 1321 AD. That was the time period of Solankis of Gujarat. And the last one is 975 to 1192 AD. That was the time period of Chauhans of Ajmer and Delhi. At first we will discuss the general administration of kingdoms. In general administration, we will discuss about use of high sounding titles. The second is sources of resources and how were the resources used. The third is land revenue. At first we will discuss about use of high sounding titles. As I have told you in my first video, at that time many of new kings adopted high sounding titles such as Maharaja Dhiraj, Tribhuvan Chakravarti and so on. However, in spite of such claims, they often shared power with their Samantas as well as with the association of peasants, traders and Brahmanas also. And these new Samantas also took the titles like Mahasamanta, Mahamandaleshwar. Actually, by using these high sounding titles, they wanted to show the supremacy of their post. They wanted to show that they were superior in comparison to other people. So, which kind of titles were being used by the kings at that time? Like Maharaja Dhiraj. It means great king, or we can say overlord of the king. Tribhuvan Chakravarti. Tribhuvana Chakravarti means Lord of the three worlds. Besides these titles, the Samantas were also enjoying some titles like Mahamandaleshwar. It means the great lord of a circle or region also. And they were also using the title Mahasamantas. It means great Samanta. So they were using these high sounding titles so that they could show their power. Now we will see sources of resources and how were the resources used. In each of these states, resources were obtained from the producers, that is peasants, cattle keepers, artisans, who were often persuaded or compelled to surrender part of what they produced. Sometimes these were claimed as rent due to a lord who asserted that he owned the land. Revenue was also collected from traders, and these resources were used to finance the king's establishment as well as for the construction of temples and forts. They were also used to fight wars, which were in turn expected to lead the acquisition of wealth in the form of plunder and access to land as well as trade routes. We will see sources of resources and how were resources used. Sources of resources. In sources we can include like peasants, cattle keepers, artisans, traders, and sometimes it is also taken in the form of rent from the person who owned the land. And how were these resources used? These resources were used, of course, to finance the king so that he could maintain his army. Generally at that time we can find three parts of army. The first is cavalry, horse riders and elephant. The second is to construct buildings. It means palaces, temples, forts. They were also used to fight wars, and in turn of wars they could find money in the form of plunder and land also. Now we will see land revenue. The functionaries for collecting revenue were generally recruited from influential families, and positions were often hereditary. Hereditary means the privileges was given on the basis of their heredity, on the basis of the prestige of their family. This was true about the army as well. In many cases, close relatives of the kings held these positions. Now we will see land grants and prashastis. At first we will see the meaning of prashasti. It means the inscription that contain the details that may not be literally true, but they tell us how rulers wanted to depict themselves as valiant, victorious warriors. For example, these were composed by learned brahmanas who occasionally helped in administration, and kings often rewarded brahmanas by grants of land. These were recorded on copper plates which were given to those who received the land. Unusual for the 12th century was a long Sanskrit poem containing the history of kings who ruled over Kashmir, and it was composed by an author named Kalhana, and Kalhana also wrote Ras Tarangani. He used a variety of sources including inscriptions, documents, eyewitnesses accounts and earlier histories to write his account. Unlike the writers of Prashastis, he was often critical about rulers and their policies. So we can say it contained details about the rulers, like how rulers wanted to depict themselves. This may not be literally true because generally these were composed by Brahmanas, and Brahmanas were given land. They were granted the land for it. So we can say prashastis were often critical about rulers and their policies, and the policies which rulers were willing to show, which rulers were willing to depict, are presented in Prashastis. In our next video, we will discuss about the third topic, that is warfare for the wealth.